We're talking about the Euros today because, of course, it's the big kick-off finally of Euro 2020. Only a year late. Have you got your wall chart up yet? Turkey versus Italy in Rome tonight. England, of course, playing Croatia at Wembley on Sunday. But did you know that a Lincolnshire man was once a top striker for England? It's Fred Spiksley from Gainsborough. We're talking back in 1890s, so it was a while ago. Author Mark Metcalf has written a book about Fred. It's called The Remarkable Story of Fred Spiksley. Mark, why was he so remarkable?
Firstly, he's called Spikesley. Lots of people get his name wrong.
I did wonder when I was saying it whether I got it right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Spikesley, right? Excellent.
He was remarkable in the sense that his whole life was remarkable because he can genuinely be called the first working class football hero because this was the era when they moved between amateur to becoming professional footballers. And not only was he a great player on the pitch, but he was an exceptional coach, such that actually 6 of the countries which are at the Euros, he coached in those countries, and he was the Swedish national manager. And he also won, he's the last Englishman to win the German title with Nuremberg in 27, and he also won it with Sweden. He also won the league, incidentally, in Mexico and won the major cup competitions in the US. But on the pitch, he was unstoppable in terms of his pace. We've seen a bit recently about Ronaldo's pace. Spikesy would have been with a chance against Ronaldo. He was that quick. He was known as Flying Fred. His parents were off Methingham Fen and moved to Gainsborough, and he played with some great success for Gainsborough up until 1891, when he was lured away to the big boys, Sheffield Wednesday, as they would say, where he became a hero. He scored both of the Wednesday goals in the 1896 final, and they beat Wolves 2-1, thus becoming the first Yorkshire side to win the FA Cup. And he also scored the last goal when they won the league for the first time, Sheffield Wednesday. He was picked for England, 1893. He was quite a young lad, and he scored a hat-trick on his debut against Wales. And then in the second game, the big game against Scotland, he also scored a hat-trick where him and his opposing winger, Billy Bassett, the great West Bromwich Albion player, destroyed the Scottish side in the second period. And Spikesy took advantage of 3 great opportunities which Bassett created for him and scored all 3 goals to reverse. England were 2-1 down, came back to win the match 5-2. What was also remarkable about this at that period, it was the first time that royalty had attended the event. So Princess Mary of Teck was amongst the visiting guests, and she was so inspired by this that at 2s apiece, she ran down the touchline waving her handkerchief and shouting, "Come on, Fred." I don't know if this necessarily inspired him. Initially, it seemed to put him off his game. He was a bit confused by what was happening. But by the end, England had won 5-2. It had caused a bit of a controversy, obviously, with the future Queen of England running down the touchline, waving her handkerchief. And England had won 5-2. It was such a famous event that 40 years later, the Sunday Express ran a whole page on the story, talking about it. It was marred slightly by the fact that the press couldn't actually see the event. So for a very long time, Spikesy was only credited with a couple of goals. But myself and Clive Nicholson and his dad, Ralph, who did the research for the book, have been able to establish that Spikesy did score the 5th goal, thus establishing as the first man to score a hat-trick for England against Scotland.
Wow,
so that's
really
what
was.
Makes him remarkable.
Yeah, it really was
he's
remarkable.
An incredible character. And obviously the book this is the paperback to the hardback, which came out a little while ago, which was exceptionally well received. And on the back of that, we've raised the funding to make a documentary film. We're about to sort of, we've got 2 more places to visit before we can start and actually edit and produce that together. We've had really good support for this. And obviously we bought the book out for the Euros and for Father's Day. Because
perfect timing, Mark. Really is perfect timing. Listen, thanks for telling us about him. He is a real character there. Fred Spiksley from Gainsborough. There he was, the top striker for England as well, back in the 1890s. And you can read all about it. Mark's book is there. Mark Metcalf, the author, The Remarkable Story of Fred Spiksley. Get it out, as he says, ideal for Father's Day and for the Euros being out as well. Great to hear from Mark. Right.